Virgo, welcome to a mid-September 2020 tarot update. It's Raina here. You didn't get to see me lay out the cards because I did something. I'm using my phone to record nowadays and still getting the hang of it. So something made it zoom in, and I wanted to get the whole thing. So I kind of like exited the screen and started all over again. This is the Light Seers Tarot deck, and so I hope that you enjoy this tarot deck. I'm enjoying connecting with it. I've done readings with this before. I've been doing some kind of like healing relationships, heartbreak of relationships readings just recently. I haven't done all the signs for those. I'll catch up with those at some point. I wanted to do these because these are more time sensitive. And the other thing, what else did I want to tell you? Oh, happy birthday to those of you who have birthdays between now and the 16th. That's when this reading is this is the time frame that this reading is intended for. I will be back for a end of the month recap or update, probably within 7 to 10 days. So I'll talk more about the new moon that is coming in. And just to also mention something that recently occurred, we had a full moon in your opposite sign of Pisces. So I'm wondering if there were any revelations, any kind of changes in your relationship structure, if this hit your 7th house, or in your job situation, if it affected your 6th house. So change in one way or the other, or just some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like revelation of something that you needed to kind of like figure out about things. So for instance, if you felt like, hey, I'm not being respected at work, or maybe you got a promotion, because the full moon can bring things to a fullness. Okay, so let's begin. The heart of the matter is represented by the 9 of Pentacles. This is a card of being financially self-sufficient. And let me see if this card... And I think this card is relatively faithful to the Rider-Waite deck, although this is an example of a card that is not, you will not find this imagery with the Rider-Waite Pamela Smith Coleman Smith deck, but which is nice because the illustrator has taken their own liberties here and there and created their own interpretation. That's really cool as well. So this woman is holding on or trying to grab it from this, whatever that is, that a dove or something, but it could be a symbol of freedom. Sometimes birds symbolize freedom because the bird can fly, above the material level, can fly into the sky. And so if you're somebody who this is something that is front and center in your life, then that might be very synchronistic to get that card. Let me just keep going because I can get a better feel for what may be going on. So we have a reversed card here. This is the 2 of Wands in reverse. And so I'm going to just hold it upright because it's easier to see. And you see the person. This is another card where the imagery of the globe is present. They're taking that from the Rider-Waite deck, right? Pamela Coleman Smith. And you see that little drawing. What do you see there? You see a surfboard, and you see like a VW bus, which is kind of a symbol of, somebody who is a free spirit, who's kind of like traveling around. But this is in reverse. So for whatever reason, the person cannot travel. The surfboard represents a sort of freedom. And I think in this particular deck, in the Light Seers Tarot deck, they use the surfboard repeatedly with the wands. But I'm not, I haven't worked with it enough to say that for sure. So so there's something that feels like you can't move forward, and maybe that makes you acutely aware of how important it is, if you want freedom, to be financially independent, financially free. And with a sign like Virgo, because I have the moon in Virgo, and I think that there are going to be a lot of similarities. So I think I know where Virgos are coming from with this. I think Virgo is a sign that is very much into simplicity. And not like your fellow earth sign Capricorn, where it's about austerity. This is more about the idea that you don't need a lot of things in order to make life happy. You might live in the mind a lot, being ruled by Mercury. So you may spend that money on educational courses or taking trips where you learn about history. It's not like you're going to be a miser or anything like that. And this is a card of travel. So you may feel stymied in some way, that you can't do this. And it can feel very, claustrophobic in a certain way. Now, because there are two Wands cards that are flanking that Nine of Pentacles, this could be a relationship issue, because the number 2 can deal with making a decision. And when I see the Pentacles front and center with Wands, I think of passion versus purpose, or what's another? I'm trying to think of a word with a P that I could have that alliteration, but actually we could say just foundation, practicality versus passion. Okay. And the thing is that too often, I think that it's not uncommon for an earth sign person, if they're attracted to somebody, to be attracted to somebody who is a fire sign, not only because you have Leo adjacent to you, and so you may even have your own inner planets in Leo. You could have your moon and rising sign in any sign. But I mean, specifically because of that Leo energy, you may really be attracted to people who have a flair, have a little bit of pizzazz. And when you get with those people, you find that the downside of it is that they tend to be unreliable sometimes. They might be very spending money too freely, and living life for the moment, and that might make you pull your hair out, because you are very organized, and part of that organization is to make sure that you have what you need for the future, not just for this moment in time. So those kinds of things may be kind of going through your mind. The higher message is the Four of Wands, which is a card of another Wands card, and Wands relate to fire, like I said, but this is a card, I don't know exactly why they're showing two young women. This is a card, you see the teepee in the background, or you could even say like a yurt, but yurts do not have pointy tops, they have rounded tops. But this kind of a home-like structure, and you have these people kind of celebrating, because this is the card of the happy home. Now maybe they're just trying to show that you can have all types of configurations within a home. It doesn't have to be just a man and a woman and 2.5 kids, but it still is this card of domestic bliss. But it's like coming from a place that makes you feel passionate, where you're not feeling reluctant to go home because you're dealing with unpleasantness. You're dealing with somebody who drags you down. So with the Nine of Pentacles, if you're in a relationship with somebody who does drag you down, but you feel like, I can't stand on my own 2 feet financially, I'm stuck. That can be what that Two of Wands in reverse is suggesting, is that you can't really, it's like you're treading water, or you're spinning your wheels, that kind of thing. And it can feel really frustrating because you want so much and you can't have it right here, right now. But the key is that, according to Abraham Hicks, now you may or may not believe in that, or you may not be familiar with it, but and I'm not like an expert in it, but they talk about the vortex, that when you want something, that it's already there, that just the desire means that it has already been created on a different level. And it's hard to really vibe with that because it seems so intangible. As you know, I'm a Sagittarian, but I have a lot of earth. Earth signs want that proof. They want that sense that what somebody is saying is viable. It makes sense. It's not just pie in the sky. I get that 100%. But on the other hand, I think that if we can cultivate faith that this is true, that makes a lot more sense. Being a cynic isn't really the answer either. So my partner, who's also a Sagittarian, has often said, a cynic only fools himself. And, I said to him, did you make that up? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. What crosses you is the Page of Pentacles. And this may be this idea of either starting your own business or looking for another job and going for it. And perhaps you've even gotten some kind of communication from somebody about a new job, but you're afraid to even explore it because you feel this sense of like, I can't take this too seriously. I can't go into this because if I do, it's like I'm opening this door that I can't close. And you just want to kind of stay in this place that's very secure, but is keeping you from growth. The Two of Wands, usually I think of the Three of Wands is more of a card of expansion, but any wands can be about expansion. And the Two of Wands is asking you to make a decision about something that you're not willing to do. And this has been for a while now. And maybe that decision is, do I stay where I feel stagnant, where I can never get ahead just because it's safe? The same thing with a relationship. Do I stay in this relationship and say, well, I can't make a decision about this because I don't have the finances to? Is there any other way that you could live without having to live with a certain person? Are there alternatives? Could you move in with somebody? Could you, you know what I mean? Could you have a roommate? Could you, the thing is that people close the door on things because it suits them. It makes it easier for them to just kind of function, but it's not necessarily true. They may be telling themselves things that are simply untrue. What is coming in is represented by the Hierophant, and this is the spiritual side of things. This is also a card of marriage. So, and the Four of Wands can be in that vicinity, I think, as well. So, if for some reason, and this card is also connected to Taurus, an earth sign. So if there is somebody who is a Taurus, an earth sign, and you are also involved with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Capricorn is another earth sign as well. This person may be somebody that you give a second glance to. Even if they're not your type and you think they're too predictable, they're too boring, you give a second chance to, because you may have had a history of relationships with people that are very flashy, but it's a flash in the pan. It's not something that lasts. And with jobs, the Hierophant is it favors more of the establishment. So if you are, even if you're thinking of starting your own business, you may feel like I have to do this methodically. I can't just up and leave. I have to kind of like, maybe I'm going to choose to stay here, but I'm also going to have a game plan about, saving money or what have you. The outcome is the Page of Cups. And so if this is a relationship, it can be a relationship. You see they have the heart there because any kind of cups is relating to the emotions. But as the Page of Cups of a new beginning, kind of like, I see the heart chakra kind of like emanating, these vibes. And so beginning a new relationship where it's kind of on the soul level, this can be something where you are, like perhaps you are beginning some kind of creative or, when I say creative, it could be your own business, some kind of but it could be an artistic thing on your own. But coming from the Hierophant, that might be that you're looking at things from a philosophical or spiritual level, and you're not just looking at it from the practical level. It certainly can mean that. I'm also thinking of the Hierophant as it connects to structures like the traditional way of doing things. And I definitely think that a Virgo person wants to follow protocol, doesn't want to kind of like do anything to burn bridges or anything like that. So you may feel like it's the right thing to do to continue where you are, especially if they're shorthanded, but you're also beginning your own creative journey. And I really like that. And same with, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you might say, well, I don't think that this is more of an affair. This is more of a fun fling type of thing. This other person is more of a soul connection. And therefore, it is more solid because it's not just about physical attraction. We're connecting very deeply here. Okay, Virgo, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.